All right, so today we're going to be looking at something pretty fascinating. The world of religion.
Okay.
But with a specific focus on the gender gap.
Interesting.
You know, all those intriguing differences that we see between men and women when it comes to faith.
Right.
And to guide us on this deep dive, we've got this awesome study from Pew Research Center.
So good.
They looked at 6 major religious groups.
Wow.
Across a whopping 192 countries.
Okay.
So we're talking about some serious global insights here.
Global insight.
Now, you've probably heard the saying that women are more religious than men.
Right.
But is that really true everywhere? And if so, why?
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Welcome to Gender Decoded, where numbers align. Seeing the stories that they define. Breaking the barriers, truth untold. Insights in gender, the tale unfolds.
Looks at gender differences in religious commitment all over the world.
All over the world, wow.
Yeah. It turns out that whole idea that, women are more religious than men, it's a lot more complicated than that.
I bet. I mean, where do you even start with something like that?
Well, you start with a huge data set.
Right.
The Pew Research Center, they gathered data from 192 countries.
Wow.
On religious affiliation. And then they also looked at beliefs and practices in 84 countries.
So we're talking like a genuinely global perspective here.
Totally. It's a massive amount of information.
So how do we even, begin to unpack all of this?
Well, let's start with the basics. Religious affiliation.
Okay.
So basically, do you say you belong to a specific religion, yes or no? And when you look at the data this way, women are more likely to say yes in most countries.
Okay.
But here's the thing, and this was so interesting to me.
Yeah.
There's no country where men are more likely to affiliate than women.
So it's not like men are completely nope, not religious.
Right, exactly.
It seems like women are just a little bit more, I don't know, a step ahead when it comes to identifying with a religion.
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. But then, it gets even more interesting when you look at religious practices.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, Christian women, they tend to attend services more often.
Okay.
But when it comes to Muslims and Orthodox Jewish folks, it's the men who are more likely to be there regularly.
Really? Oh, wow. See, I would have thought it was the opposite.
Right. Why is that?
Yeah.
It's all about the specifics of each religion. So, in Orthodox Judaism, you need what's called a minyan.
A minyan.
Yeah, it means you need at least 10 men present to have certain prayers. So that obviously impacts attendance.
Right. It's like a built-in attendance booster.
Exactly. And then in Islam, men are required to go to communal prayers every Friday.
Oh, right.
So that also affects attendance patterns.
Yeah, it really shows you that you can't just make these general statements about who's more religious.
Right.
It all depends on what we even mean by religious.
Exactly.
And even with those differences in attendance globally, more women actually report praying every day than men.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the average difference is 8 percentage points.
8 percentage points.
8 percentage points.
That's a big gap.
It's huge. It's actually the biggest gender gap they found in the whole study.
So it's even if women aren't going to formal services as much, they're still engaging in daily prayer more.
Makes you wonder if daily prayer is this more personal or private connection for them.
Yeah.
Compared to communal worship.
It's a really good point. And you know what else?
Yeah.
It gets even more interesting.
Oh, no. How could it get more interesting?
Because this pattern, it even extends to people who say they're not part of any particular religion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they called them religiously unaffiliated in the study. But even among those folks, women in some countries are more likely to pray every day than men.
Okay, so we've got women more likely to say they belong to a religion.
Right.
Plus, they're more likely to pray daily. But what about how important religion is to them in their lives?
Yeah, that's a great question. So are they just going through the motions?
Right.
Or do they really feel that religion is a central part of who they are? Well, that's where things get a little more complicated.
Okay.
Because in a lot of countries, men and women actually view religion as equally important.
Oh, okay.
But then there are plenty of other places where women say it matters more to them.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is, the only two countries where men find religion more important are Israel and Mozambique.
Israel and Mozambique.
Yeah, that was really surprising to me.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people just assume women are the ones who are more invested.
Right.
But clearly that's not always true.
Totally.
It really just depends on where in the world you are and,
Yeah.
and what religious traditions are most common in those places.
You said it. Context is everything.
Totally.
Okay, so we've talked about affiliation, we've talked about practices, but what about beliefs? Like beliefs about the afterlife?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, what about heaven and hell and all that?
Exactly.
What did the research say about that?
All right, well, let's get into the afterlife.
All right, let's do it. So when it comes to the afterlife, like heaven and hell and all that, the research actually found that men and women are pretty similar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're mostly on the same page about believing in those things.
Huh, that's kind of surprising.
It is a little bit. But when there is a difference,
Yeah.
it's usually the women who are a little more likely to say they believe.
Interesting. So slight edge for the ladies in the afterlife department,
Right.
but overall not that different.
Yeah, seems like it.
Okay, so we've seen these like fascinating gender differences in how people are religious, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But the big question is,
What's that?
WHY? Why are there these differences in the first place?
Oh, man, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, researchers have been trying to figure that out forever.
Yeah.
There are so many theories out there, biology, psychology, social stuff,
Yeah.
even genetics.
Wow.
It's probably like a big mix of all those things working together.
It's not like there's this one simple answer.
Right, exactly.
But I was really struck by the connection they found between work, yeah, like having a job,
Okay.
and religious commitment.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, the Pew Research, it showed that women who work outside the home,
Yeah.
they tend to be less religious than women who don't work outside the home.
That makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like maybe it's not just about being a woman.
Right.
It's about the role you have in society.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
seems to matter a lot.
Makes total sense, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're working all the time, you might have less time or energy for religious stuff.
Right, exactly.
It's not that your beliefs have changed.
Yeah, it's more about like priorities shifting
Totally.
and just having the time, you know?
Exactly. It really challenges that whole idea that women are just naturally more religious.
Right. It's not so cut and dry.
Definitely not. Okay, so we've been talking big picture, global stuff, but I'm curious how these gender differences play out in, like, specific religions.
Oh, yeah. That's a great question.
Like, what about Christians?
Well, for Christians, the
Yeah.
research found that women are more likely to say religion is super important to them.
Okay, so that kind of fits with the general idea.
Yeah.
Like that image of the devout Christian woman going to church every week.
Exactly.
The data seems to back that up.
It does, but you have to remember, even within Christianity, there's tons of diversity.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, think about the difference between, like, a Baptist church in the South and a Catholic church in, say, Spain.
Yeah.
Totally different vibes.
And the way women experience their faith could be totally different, too.
Yeah. The research doesn't really get into those specifics.
It would be interesting to see more on that.
Totally. But it's important to keep in mind, you know, it's
Yeah.
not this one monolithic thing.
For sure. Okay, well, what about Islam?
Oh, good one.
We talked earlier about how in some Muslim countries,
Yeah.
men are more likely to attend services.
Right. Because of those Friday prayers.
Exactly.
Right.
So what else did they find about Muslim men and women?
Well, remember how we talked about daily prayer
Hmm.
and how maybe that's a more central practice for some women?
Yeah.
It seems like that might be true in Islam, too.
Oh, okay.
Muslim women globally.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more likely to pray every day than Muslim men.
So even if they're not going to those big services as often,
Yeah.
they're still having that daily connection.
Exactly. It really shows you that you can't just look at one thing, like attendance.
Right.
You got to look at prayer, importance, beliefs,
The whole picture.
the whole picture.
And the reasons behind those differences
yeah.
could be anything, right?
No, totally. Could be social norms, cultural stuff, specific teachings.
It's all connected.
All connected. And, the research doesn't just stop at Christianity and Islam.
Oh, right.
They also looked at Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism.
Oh, let's hear about those. What about Buddhism?
Buddhism is kind of similar to Islam, actually.
Oh, okay.
Buddhist women around the world,
Yeah.
they're more likely to pray daily than Buddhist men.
So even though their practices might be super different,
Right, totally.
the pattern's still there.
The pattern's there. Pretty interesting, right?
Definitely. Okay, what about Hinduism?
So with Hinduism, it's similar to Christianity in that women are more likely to say religion is very important.
Okay, so that makes sense.
But here's a twist.
Oh, I love a twist.
In India,
Yeah.
which has the most Hindus in the world, by the way,
Right.
men are actually a bit more likely to attend religious services every week.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So even within one religion, things can look different depending on where you are.
Exactly. It all comes back to context.
Totally. Okay, last one, Judaism.
Judaism. Now, this one's tricky
How so?
because Judaism has so much diversity within it.
Oh, right.
You've got Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, all sorts of different branches.
Yeah.
And the research doesn't break it down by those groups.
Okay.
But what it does show is that Israel is the only country where men are consistently more likely to pray daily. And religion is very important.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because of Orthodox Judaism.
Exactly. Remember how we talked about the emphasis on men in Orthodox services?
Yeah,
That probably plays a big role.
totally. So it seems like social and cultural factors, they really are super important
They are huge.
in shaping how people experience religion.
It's not just about being male or female.
Right.
It's about your role in society.
Yeah. And how that interacts with your faith.
Exactly. It's all connected, like we've been saying.
Context is everything. So we've looked at all this data
Yeah.
about gender and religion.
It's been a lot.
It has. But where do we go from here?
What does it all mean?
Yeah. What are the big takeaways? What are the implications?
Well, that is a perfect question to lead us into the final part of our deep dive.
Ooh, can't wait.
In part 3, we're going to explore some of those implications.
Okay.
And we'll talk about what this research might tell us about the future of faith.
Oh, the future of faith.
In a world where gender roles and all that are constantly changing.
Sounds fascinating.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. We've been having such a fascinating conversation.
I know, right? Who knew gender and religion were so complex?
It's amazing. We've seen that. It's just not true to say that, like, one gender is just naturally more religious.
Yeah, not at all.
It's so much more nuanced than that.
Way more nuanced. And we've seen how different it can look in different cultures.
Totally. And with different religious groups, too.
Exactly. It all comes back to context, right?
Always. But as we wrap things up, I think it's really important to think about what these findings might mean for the future.
Ooh, the future of faith.
Yeah, like the world's changing so fast.
It really is.
And religion is changing right along with it.
Absolutely. So, what are some big takeaways we should keep in mind as we look ahead?
Yeah. What are the implications of all this?
Well, one thing that really struck me
Mm-hmm.
was how much social and cultural stuff matters.
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember how we talked about women working outside the home
Yeah.
and how that seemed to affect their religious commitment,
It makes you wonder, as those gender roles keep shifting,
which they are, for sure.
how will that impact how man-and women relate to religion?
That's a huge question. Like, will we see totally new ways of being religious?
Right. Or maybe people will just become less religious overall.
Maybe. Or maybe men will actually become more involved in religion.
Oh, interesting. Like as women's roles change.
Exactly. It's like a ripple effect, right? One change can lead to a whole bunch of others.
Totally. So no easy answers, but it's definitely something to think about.
Oh, for sure. And it shows that religion isn't just this fixed thing. It's
Right.
always evolving and adapting.
Totally. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the big takeaway is that
What's that?
gender and religion, it's complicated.
It is. And fascinating.
Definitely fascinating. There's no one-size-fits-all story here.
Everyone's journey is unique.
Exactly.
And the more we understand all the different factors involved, the more we can appreciate the diversity of religious experience.
Love that. So to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
See you then.